Hello, and welcome back, I suppose. Diary 193. I've had 4.5 months of water torture by Waltham Forest Council. That tap is still dripping 24/7. Nothing I can do about it. No explanation as to why it's taken 4.5 months for a tap to be fixed. No explanation as to why Waltham Forest Council are unofficially putting me on a single point of contact. No explanation as to why Waltham Forest Council are ignoring all my requests, questions, queries, comments. I keep getting... The third time now I've had a response on their Facebook page about, I'm sorry to hear... It's the same thing, copied and pasted. I'm sorry to hear this, Mr. Gibbons. What is there we can help with? And when I tell them what there is they can help with, they ignore me. So they ignore me on Facebook as well as on the phone and in email. And to me, ignoring also includes using an unofficial single point of contact to communicate with me solely. That is not acceptable. I've had to contact the NHS again today because 2 months to have a phone call returned from the NHS people is pathetic. So I've complained about my GP surgery again, and I've mentioned to NHS England that over the last 2 years I've complained several times about my NHS surgery, and they seem to be repeating the same mistakes, i.e. they are disrespecting people with anxiety or at least protected characteristics under the 2010 Equality Act by refusing to actually uphold a reasonable adjustment request. Hello, Caspi. So they don't call me back on a non-private number. I actually said to NHS England 2.5 months ago, their surgery recruited a new receptionist, and she called me back on a non-private number. And that's the first time they've called me back on a non-private number, barring the time I contacted NHS England and they called me on the bypass mobile number, that the GP has called me back on a non-private number. Handsworth Medical Practice. I thought they were pretty good practice until I joined them 3.5 years ago. And they've let me down, left, right and centre. And I believe that half of my problem with Waltham Forest Council comes back to Handsworth Medical Practice not taking my disability seriously. And when they've been contacted by Waltham Forest Council, who have probably asked them, well, is Mr. Gibbons really housebound? They've probably said, not as far as we're aware, because no one's made a fucking note of it. And there's nowhere communicating with these people unless you contact the Harpies from Hell, otherwise known as the receptionist. And then you have to rely on the receptionist actually putting it on your record, which apparently they haven't done. And there's no email address for them, so I can't email them saying, oh, I'm not in a good shape, I'm housebound. Because the only email addresses I have for them are NHS email addresses. And apparently, according to the senior practice manager, they don't accept emails from non-NHS addresses. I know that's bullshit because I used to do their IT support. And they do accept non-NHS email addresses. They just don't accept them from me. But there we are. So NHS England asked me what they wanted to happen, what I wanted done, and I said, I want the senior clinician to apologise for the way I've been treated and to give assurances that my treatment and treatment of people with my condition will be different going forward. I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't get to sleep till 4:30 this morning and woke up at 11:30. My poor cats were still asleep. They probably tried waking me up about 7 or 8. I can't get to sleep because I've got a tap dripping 24/7, as you can hear. And when I do get to sleep, I don't sleep very well. I've got no medical support. I've been isolated by Waltham Forest Council for 2.5 years, basically. Ever since someone at Waltham Forest Council gave my housing officer permission to ignore my emails. So I've had no housing officer for 2.5 years. I've got no one to turn to when I need help. And someone in Waltham Forest Housing has authorised my housing officer to ignore my emails, because he does ignore my emails. I mean, basically, if I've not had a housing officer and I'm not getting repairs, they should refund my rent. I don't want £350 compensation. I want my rent refunded for as long as they've not been giving me a housing officer. 2.5 years. Seems reasonable. I'm paying for a service that isn't being provided. I've had no communication from my MP, again. I've had no communication from the local Labour Party, again, even though I messaged them on Facebook asking why they've been ignoring me, and they've ignored that also. I suppose I'm going to have to try and find a solicitor tomorrow and see if I can get some sort of action taken, because this is just fucking pathetic now. I've lost 2 so-called friends over the last week. One stopped talking to me and wouldn't explain why. Another one kept promising to call me back and refused to call me back, so I've blocked those now. Lita called me this afternoon to show me that she's cooking. I didn't really want to talk to anyone, especially if they're cooking. Thank you. Goodbye. I've told her to come and pick her stuff up. She wanted to come down tonight. I said Saturday would be fine. I'm gradually losing the few people that I can communicate with, one by one, because they're not actually communicating with me. Same thing that happened 3.5 years ago. 4.5 years ago. I keep forgetting it's been a while now. I am moments away from having a full-on breakdown again, because no one is listening to me, no one is supporting me, and no one is contacting me. I don't want to type for the rest of my life. I want a person in front of me to talk with. I had someone round last Sunday called Maria. Not yesterday, the week ago. And she seemed okay. We seemed to get on all right, but within 50 minutes she'd gone out the door because she had to get home before it got dark. And all week she's been ignoring me. I've been, hello, good morning, good night, all that sort of normal stuff. And today she eventually told me that she's found someone else and she doesn't want to talk to me. No explanation as to why or what I've done wrong. I've asked her, and she may, when she feels like it, tell me what went wrong. Well, fuck you, Maria. And Rissa as well. Another one I blocked because she just stopped talking to me. One by one. Ekka's off the list. I nearly did Sasha last night as well, because I'm fucking pissed off with everyone that talks but don't fucking call me. They'll message you and text you and promise to call you back. I've had 54 years of promises. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. Don't promise to call me. Call me. Don't promise to come round. Hayley, come round. I had promises after promises that the woman that was here originally would come back and visit me. Not once. I had promises from the local residents that I'd be invited to all the new barbecues. Not once. I had promises from Waltham Forest Council that they would respect me and communicate with me effectively. Not once. Despite me telling Waltham Forest Council exactly how to communicate with me at the bottom of every email for the last year and a half. Not once. And irony of ironies, I was having a look through the Eventbrite site over the weekend, and they've got all this training now, Waltham Forest Council, for autism awareness and equality, but only for people in social services. So it's all right to disrespect people in housing then. Only social services have to be trained on how to respect people that have issues. What about those people that social services don't want to fucking know? What about the adults that social services aren't geared up for? Because that's what they've told me time and time again. Oh, well, we're geared up for children mainly, they've said. That's fine. So until you get to 18 or 21, whenever their cut-off is, then you're on your own. Social services in Waltham Forest does not look after you. Unless you have a physical disability, and then they can do something. That's what it comes down to with Waltham Forest Council. They actually put a video on Facebook over the weekend. They probably terminated my fucking comment. It's probably private because I put a comment on because they had an Asian looking fella on there a couple of times, 10 hours apart. They put the same video up or similar video a couple of times, going on about, well, Waltham Forest Social Services have really helped him since something or other happened. I don't know when. And I put down, oh, so it's only non-white people that get social services care when they're adults then. Because Waltham Forest Council haven't offered a single bit of help towards me. And I'm more severely handicapped than he was. It was a mental trauma. Mine's an ongoing lifestyle thing. You know, it's not a choice, it's what I was born with. But Waltham Forest Council, like I keep saying, are racists. They will help Asians and black people and push white people aside. You can tell that from their Facebook posts and their Twitter posts. 95% of all the people on their posts are non-white. I don't think this borough is 95% non-white, not yet. I mean, Waltham Forest Council are doing their best to push the white people out. No one wants to hear me on this. So why are there so many non-white people on the post for Waltham Forest Council? Each to their own? Favouritism? I just want an explanation, Waltham Forest Council, as to why there's so many disproportionate non-white people on your Facebook and Twitter posts. Disproportionate. That's the thing. Why don't you put me on one of your posts about an example of how you have failed an autistic adult, how you failed to comply with the Equality Act with a white man, but you bend over backwards for the Asians? Is that what you're saying to me? Because that's what's coming across on your Facebook posts. Post after post after post, Asian, black, Asian, black. Really? Where's all the white people in social services? Where's the housing stories involving white people? No one wants to listen to me. Because I spout the truth and it leaves a nasty stench in the nose of idiots and liars. And in the case of most people in housing, lying idiots. They're so idiotic, they don't realise they're bloody lying, these people. I actually, for the umpteenth time, spoke to someone in the Housing Ombudsman on Friday, and Waltham Forest Council have got 10 days now to answer questions about my treatment and why, for example, a tap repair has not been put out for repair despite the fact they've put it in writing that they did 2 months ago. Why rents haven't called me back to repay my money and give my compensation over 4 months ago. Why they can't pick the phone up and talk to me like a normal human being. Why everything is filtered through a single point of contact. Unofficially for the last couple of months. Why the person that signed off the breach of policy last year investigated herself. Why no disciplinary action has taken place against all those individuals that assisted and condoned the breach of the policy and my rights under law. None of them have been investigated by HR. Until people are fired about the way I've been treated, this treatment will continue. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to do anything what the Housing Ombudsman says until someone loses their job and gets fined and reprimanded. I will carry on being isolated in this little prison of mine because of the way that Waltham Forest have treated me and the lies they've told to me, till my dying day if needs be. I want people with mental disabilities that are white, because the non-white people are catered for apparently, according to Waltham Forest Council. I want white people to be catered for also. I want everyone with mental health issues to be catered for, not just the ones that Waltham Forest choose to look after, the ones that Waltham Forest like. It's not a choice, Waltham Forest Council. You have an obligation in law. You have to respect the law. You have to respect disability rights. As soon as I find a good solicitor, I will be coming for you, Waltham Forest. If anyone knows a good solicitor with mental health and discrimination experience, please do send me a message. I'm open to offers. Anyway, I'm not going to carry on. This has been nearly 20 minutes as it is. Thank you for watching. Try and sleep well. I know I won't.